Hi everyone, my name is Kaya Guthridge and today I'm going to argue why the death penalty is valid and even essential. The death penalty should remain legal across certain states within our country. In many states there are really vile and inhumane crimes that happen on a daily basis that warrant the death penalty. This penalty, it is put in place to help society stay in line and give equal consequence to those extremely violent crimes that occur on a daily basis. So, this brings me to my background on the death penalty. The death penalty is also known as capital punishment, and capital punishment is against people who commit crimes that are especially heinous and especially violent, such as murder. So, the consequence of giving the death penalty include hanging, lethal injection, gas chambers, firing squad, and even electrocution. But the most common form of punishment for the death penalty is lethal injection because it's proven to be the most painless form of sentencing for humans. The death penalty, it really has kept many people from committing these serious crimes such as murder because of the thought of execution. The thought of execution outweighs the thought of losing your liberty. So it's more effective. The death penalty is more effective than just sending someone to prison for the rest of their life. So this brings me to my first argument. The death penalty, it should remain in effect because the morality of the penalty matches the morality of the crime that was committed. So studies from Santa Clara University show that in the United States, we've only imposed the death penalty on those who are classified as murderers and convicted of murder. And the study also shows that if the losses on society that are imposed on the innocent victims are favoring the murderers, then society is allowing basically murderers to get away with bearing the cost of taking a life. The death penalty, it shows that these heinous crimes that are committed, they will be met with similar force. And it shows that the United States is serious about punishing the offenders of these crimes. So if murderers, they were to go to prison, then most families wouldn't have trouble reaching a place of just peace and justice to where they have clarity in the justice that was given. There are some states in the United States where murder is extremely common and where the death penalty is a very warranted punishment. So this brings me to my second argument. The states in which there's a high murder rate are the states in which the death penalty is effective. According to the Death Penalty Information Center and a study conducted by them, the FBI Uniform Crime Report homicide data found that in the South, they have the highest crime rates, and the South accounts for more than 80% of death penalty executions. So this is because in order to maintain the control over these high murder rates, there has to be a punishment that is needed to meet these drastic measures and drastic crimes that are committed. So I will agree that the innocence until proven guilty is important, and that is exactly why when offenders are given the death penalty, there's normally a substantial amount of evidence that is proven to make them guilty. So this brings me to my final argument. There are many safeguards that are put in place by the United States and our criminal justice system that are in place to help guarantee the protection of those who are facing the death penalty. So this is according to the United Nations Human Rights Association. One of the safeguards, along with many others that are in place, is that capital punishment may be imposed only when the guilty person is charged based upon clear and convincing evidence, leaving no room for an alternative explanation at all of the facts. So they also state that anyone sentenced to the death penalty shall have the right to appeal to a court of a higher jurisdiction and take the necessary steps to ensure that that appeal becomes mandatory. So the appeal is mandatory for everyone. If they are faced with the death penalty, they can appeal that decision and take it to court in a higher jurisdiction. So, with that being said and enforced, it really proves that the states that implement the death penalty are taking the necessary measures to not take it lightly. They aren't just handing out the death penalty, essentially. They are giving it to people who have solid and clear and concise and ironclad evidence against them. The death penalty, it's in place to protect and preserve human rights and a human's right to life, not take it away. It's not meant to just to disrupt human rights and take away human life. Those who face the death penalty are involved in crimes where they themselves violated a human's right. So, with that being said, we should not abolish the death penalty, and instead we should continue to take the necessary steps to make sure that the death penalty is only given to those who actually and truly deserve it. There are many measures that we take, such as, and organizations that were even created, such as the Innocence Project, that help people prove their innocence in cases that are facing the death penalty. With the death penalty in place, society and our United States criminal justice system works hard to ensure that the people that are convicted are truly guilty of the crimes and that the conviction is absolutely correct. So if someone were I want you to think about it like this. If someone were to brutally take the life of your family member or someone that you love, you would want to make sure that that person is punished to the fullest extent of the law. This is the justice that many of the innocent people that were involved in these heinous and violent and nasty crimes deserve and need in order to move on with their lives, in order for their families to move on with their lives. If someone really does have the audacity to take the life of another person, they absolutely should face the consequence of losing their own themselves. Thank you.